on scene from outside of the mall just moments ago. What we know is that the call went out around 5:30. Right now, we have a gentleman on the phone, Tim Renaud. He was outside the Planet Fitness joining us on the phone. If people did not hear what you were told us earlier, can you go through again what happened when you pulled up to the mall?
Sure. I got to the mall, started to go inside to Planet Fitness, and there were just tons of people coming out of the store, some running, some just casually walking. As we got closer, they started saying, "You don't want to go in there." We heard shots fired. There's people shooting. So we kind of backed up a little bit and just watched the scene. Then we started seeing more people running out, saying shots fired, shots fired. So we backed up even more. Maybe 5 minutes later, police started arriving on scene. Cruiser pulled up right in front of the Planet Fitness entrance and immediately started dressing up in his tactical gear. More crews started arriving in. They went running inside. They've been inside for a while, and they actually seems like they just let some people who were taking cover inside the mall out. But there's just a convoy of police here outside that mall.
All right, hold on to the phone for me while I've got you right there on the phone. I will tell you that from what I understand, we want to take a look at some live pictures. I'm also communicating with people who own a business inside of that store. People in that particular business are locked in a back room with customers. They're saying they are still on lockdown. They are saying also that, like right now, they are hearing shots being fired. They're waiting to be evacuated, but they do hear shots being fired. This was in the last 2 or 3 minutes. As you can see, live pictures coming in right now, courtesy ABC News 4. This is, as we look down, it looks to be the backside of JCPenney, possibly. You can hear the helicopter above. Tim Renaud is on the phone with us still. He was telling us moments ago about the helicopter being overhead. Tim, I guess my next question is, you said you saw a lot of people running out there, running out of that store. Have you seen any ambulances, anybody who looks like they may have been shot coming out of that store via EMTs or emergency personnel?
Nothing on this side. It's just police, a few fire cruisers, but there's no one that seems panicked. Everyone who has come out seems to be pretty okay. I don't see anything, remotely like that on this side of the mall, at least.
The interesting part is we take a look at these live pictures, the access that we're getting right now, being able to be so close to the mall, signals to me that either the situation is under control, that they would let the media that close, or they are inside, taking care of business there. But you can see to the right of your screen there, people standing, near their cars. Doesn't look like emergency personnel. You're looking at the Planet Fitness. From the video we saw just a moment ago, standing behind our photographer was the Belk. So to kind of give you a little bit of reference as to the pictures that we're taking a look at. Tim, when you look around there, we see North Charleston Police. Do you see any other agencies nearby?
I did see some of the military garb just go into the building, but I don't see any type of military cruisers or anything like that. Really, it just looks like a heavy police presence out here. I don't see anything, anything crazier than that.
Since we've had these live pictures up in the last 2 minutes or so, we have not seen anybody exit the mall from that particular location. I know that Charleston County officers have been called to that area. That was probably about 30 minutes ago or so, as when we were first tipped off that something may have been happening. Dispatch confirmed to us that they were working a possible reported active shooter inside of that mall. The gentleman on the phone, Tim Renaud, has told us that he arrived at Planet Fitness and saw people starting to come out, saying you don't want to go in there, that there is somebody inside shooting. We have not heard any numbers of possible victims. There you see ABC News 4's Bill Burr, or if there anybody hit. I do know as well that people working inside of that mall at one particular store, they are locked in a back room with some customers. They're waiting to be evacuated, and within the last 5 minutes, They had communicated with their superiors that they continued to hear shots fired. We don't know if that shots were fired by a suspect or if that is from police. Right now, Alex Heaton is on the scene there. Let's join her and see what she's got to say. Alex?
Hey, Dean, here. I'm out here just in the parking lot of Northwoods. You can see the scene, cop cars out here. We're just right in front of Planet Fitness. I want to bring in Jeanette Betts. She's from Atlanta. You were in Belk, right?
We was in Victoria's Secret.
Victoria's Secret, and you were just telling me you heard everything. I want you to walk me through what happened.
Well, me and my family, we were headed to Chick-fil-A. And there was a lot of people out shopping and whatnot. And all of a sudden, we hear a stampede of people come running, saying, move, duck, drop. So we ran into Victoria's Secret, ran in the store. The store manager told us to go to the back. We locked ourselves in the back room until the police came and escorted us out.
And you were telling me earlier, you just never know when things...
You just never know when things happen. People out here innocent, shopping, being with family, and then something like this happened. It's so unnecessary. Gunshot fired, glass shattering, innocent people, kids, elderly. It's just unheard of. It's just nerve-wracking, and I have to explain this to my younger son, what's really going on when he thinks that everybody's supposed to love each other, and here we are with something like this. Never thought I would experience nothing like this in my lifetime. And Charleston is my home, and never experienced anything quite like it.
I'm very glad to know you're okay. And you guys, you can hear the helicopter above. I want to walk over here. And ma'am, you were telling me too, you were inside when all of this happened. How are you feeling right now?
Gosh, I'm crushed. I'm crushed. The only thing I remember when I was talking to one of the cashiers, and next thing I know, I heard gunshots. And then I heard a glass shattered. And I was just like looking everywhere, and I see like people was running towards JCPenney's, hollering, you know, somebody is shooting, go upstairs. And next thing you know, we all went upstairs. It was crazy. I mean, kids everywhere. I mean, no telling, because someone said it was like two men was shooting. And they say one might have got away and one was still in the mall.
Do you know how many gunshots you heard?
I remember hearing at least two or three.
And what did you think the moment you heard these?
I actually thought someone got shot. Thought somebody got shot. Several people got shot because of the, it was more than one, I heard more than one shot. So I thought it was like several people might have got shot. And I saw kids just running all over the place. It was crazy.
And Jeanette described it to me a minute ago as chaos inside that mall. Obviously not something you expected to when you went on your shopping trip today. What did you think when all of this was going on?
Oh, ma'am, something like this happened to me similar last year in Augusta Mall. And I thought it was like a replay of what happened to me last year in Augusta Mall. It was like everybody was running, gunshots, and you don't know what to think. So the only thing, I knew was I ran with the workers upstairs in JCPenney's. That was that.
Yeah. And did police come in and escort you guys outside? I noticed a big crowd of you out here to the left of Belk.
Yes, ma'am. They sent everyone through the exit of Hat World, and we all came out the side of the building.
Okay. And then when you came outside, was anybody left inside?
It was just like the workers, but they were following everybody also.
Well, thank you so much for your time. Dean, we have very limited information right now. Just about 5:30 or so, we learned a confirmed active shooter here at Northwoods Mall. We have our Mr. Bill Burr here.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
No.
I did want to pass along some information.
Yeah.
I just spoke with Spencer Pryor from the North Charleston Police Department just moments ago. He said there is not an active shooter at this point. He's meeting with some North Charleston police officers right now. He's going to come right back over to this part of the parking lot to give us an update. But at this point, not an active shooter. Not sure if anyone is in custody at this point, but we'll get more information here in just a few minutes.
All right, that sounds good. We'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Alex, thanks so much. Again, if you're just joining us at just a little after 6 o'clock, the news came in right around 5:30, 5:40 of a possible active shooter at Northwoods Mall. At that point, we started seeing pictures being shared on social media, a couple of them by a gentleman by the name of Tim Renaud. He had just pulled up outside of Planet Fitness and was exiting his vehicle going into the mall when people started to tell him, you do not want to go inside right now. There's somebody inside shooting. You see some of the pictures that he took. We were able to speak with him. He was telling us about the police presence. Also, he was hearing and seeing the helicopter overhead. At that point, we were able to establish some live pictures. Alex Heaton was talking to somebody who had just gone into the mall, started to shop a little bit, and was then being escorted out. She spoke to someone else who said she heard gunshots. She heard glass being shattered, people running towards the JCPenney. She said 2 or 3 gunshots, heard that 2 men were shooting. We're not sure whether or not one of those men may have gotten outside of that mall, but obviously very shaken. Ironically, sadly, that woman also said she was also at the Augusta Mall at a shooting there that happened within the last calendar year, if I remember correctly. Also, if you go back to March of 2016, a young man was shot and killed in the parking lot outside of the mall, outside of one of those restaurants right there near the mall. That was back in March. A 15-year-old man, young boy, teenager, 6:30 in the afternoon in March was shot there. So right now, as Bill Burr said, we are waiting to hear from Spencer Pryor. He is the PIO, the Public Information Officer for the city of North Charleston. He told our ABC News 4 Bill Burr that there was not an active shooter inside of the mall. Obviously, information now coming to the police department, whether they have somebody detained. 2 people detained. We don't know, but obviously if he is reporting that there is not a active shooter inside of that mall, then maybe somebody has been taken into custody. ABC News 4's Bill Burr is joining us again from outside, it looks like kind of the Planet Fitness area. I'm taking a look at the map. There's a Belk right there, a finish line inside of the mall. Bill, if you can hear me, can you tell me more about what Spencer Pryor told you, why he's convinced there's not an active shooter now?
Dean, it happened just moments ago. I was walking to our news crew here. There's a line of police cars. Spencer Pryor, the spokesperson for the North Charleston Police Department, rolled down his window quickly and said there isn't an active shooter. Please tell your viewers right now he's going to come over here momentarily and brief us. He was on his way to talk to some of the other North Charleston police officers at this point. So that's all I know at this point. He hasn't told me if anyone is in custody at this point. I did talk to someone that was inside the mall as she heard the gunfire. She said that she heard 6 gunshots, and several people had told her that they were going to be leaving the mall as quickly as possible, and that's what she did too. She was at the Aeropostale store inside, and that's where she had heard the gunshots at about 5:30ish or so this afternoon. I'm standing on the Belk side of Northwoods Mall, not far from Planet Fitness. One of our colleagues over at Fox 24 tweeted late this afternoon he was at the Planet Fitness. He was walking out whenever he heard the gunshots, and that's when, I take it back, he had heard people that were coming out of the, streaming out of the mall, saying that they had heard gunshots, and so he began to tweet pictures then from his Twitter account with Fox 24. We were able to jump on it, get up here as quickly as possible, waiting to hear more information from North Charleston Police at this point. It seems like things are fairly calm at this point. We've seen a lot of people that were walking from the mall, leaving the mall, coming over to check on loved ones in different parts of the parking lot. There's no mass hysteria. There's no screaming, just a lot of urgency. And police are canvassing the area right now. There's a line of police cars here, fire trucks in the nearby parking lots as well, too. And as I said, we're waiting to hear back from a spokesperson with the North Charleston Police Department to find out the very latest on this scene. Dean?
All right, Bill, thanks so much. We'll also keep an eye out. Interesting to see, and we haven't seen, and maybe a good sign that we have not seen ambulances pull up to that scene. Right now, we want to turn to our phone, and Valerie is joining us on the phone. She was inside of that mall, Northwoods Mall. Valerie, thank you so much for calling. Could you tell us a little bit about where you were and what happened?
We were in Aeropostale checking out, and about 100 people came running into the store. There was gunshots out in the lobby part of the mall. They were just running in, screaming, shooting, and we started running to the back of the store where we all locked into the storeroom. They pulled down the gate at Arrow and just locked it. The employees there locked us into the storeroom.
So can you tell us how many gunshots you heard?
There was a couple. I don't really remember how many. When we were standing at the checkout line, after we actually closed the gate, or the employees closed the gate, I did see a person with a gun, but I wasn't sure if that was the shooter or if it was an undercover police officer who was actually doing a sweep. I really didn't. He didn't have a uniform on, so I wasn't quite certain at that point.
So Aeropostale, that's kind of right there. Is that not far from where the Planet Fitness is?
Yeah, I believe it's all right there. The food court kind of merges into that part of the mall. I believe. I'm not really quite certain. It's only the second time I've ever been to the mall.
Well, I appreciate you calling in and sharing. Are you still at the mall now, or have you left?
Actually, we just got cleared out of the room, so we just got our car, and I'm trying to get out of the parking lot.
So you didn't walk through the mall. Did you go out back?
No, yes, the police officers wouldn't let us go back into the mall, so they cleared us through the back door.
All right, Valerie, we thank you for your time today, and we appreciate you calling in.
Thank you.
All right, so an active shooter at the mall. North Charleston police saying right now that there is not an active shooter at the mall at this time, but within the last 45 minutes, obviously shots fired inside of that mall. We've heard that from 3 people inside of the mall right now, and also from some people who were in a back storage area who were basically hid in the back of a store with some customers at one of the stores there, had been communicating with me on Facebook. So right now it's North Charleston police says there is no concern and there is no threat to the general public. I would imagine that North Charleston police will be trying to do some type of press conference and give out some information right now. Let's do this. Let's go to a break quickly, and when we come back, we'll reestablish some live. All right, let's do that. Yeah, we'll turn our attention to Alex Heaton. She is outside in the parking lot at Northwoods Mall right now. Alex?
Right now. Hey, Dean, I haven't been able to get an update rather on the shooting per se. Bill is over there talking to Spencer Pryor, the public information officer for the North Charleston Police Department. I've been talking with witnesses who were inside the mall when the shooting happened, and they were telling me the moments they heard gunfire, several shots fired. And they were some women checking out at the register, one woman in Victoria's Secret, another woman inside Belk, and they heard these shots fired, and they just talked about the moment of sheer terror when they were just here on this Monday afternoon trying to run a few errands and recalling the moments of all of this taking place just within the past hour or so. They said that they were all told to run upstairs, and then they were all kept upstairs, and then police came and escorted them out. And then when I got here just about maybe 20 minutes or so ago, if we can pan over, when we got here, everyone was on the left side of Belk here, on the side, all huddled together, and that is where police escorted them out of the mall. They were kept over on this side of the building, and then they were allowed, right after we got here, allowed to come out into the parking lot. But out here in the parking lot, everyone is very calm. People, strangers, walking up to one another, checking on each other, making sure they're okay. I spoke with a woman from Augusta, a woman from Atlanta, all just really terrified that this happened here in Charleston, but they're all just checking on one another, again, making sure everyone's okay. And I believe Bill, again, over there making sure he's getting this update, and we're going to go check in with him right now. Dean?
All right, Alex, thank you. We are waiting to hear from Spencer Pryor. He's the public information officer for the city of North Charleston. Just a couple of days ago, we were communicating, getting some information, from the city, following up on some stories. We had asked how many shootings in the city so far this year. That answer was 55. 113 shootings all of last year, so right basically on pace for the same number as last year. In the city from January 1st of this year to June 29th, there have been 48 shootings, and of course a deadly shooting in the Northwood Mall parking lot back in March of 2016. So we do know shots were fired inside of that mall. We do not know right now if anybody was injured in the shootings. We do know that many of those stores, most of the stores have been evacuated. A lot of people running to the back of those stores and locking themselves in storage areas and closets, and then the police coming by, clearing that area, letting people out as they saw safe, as they saw fit. So right now, what we do know, people leaving the mall heard gunshots. They heard glass being shattered. One woman thought there were two men shooting. We do not know and have not seen any ambulances outside of that mall right now. But again, we are on just one part of that mall. I don't know if you can put the picture up again that we had on the producer computer of the map of the mall. I think it was very telling to kind of tell people, exactly where it was. As we take a look, just in the bottom left corner, you see the Belk and then the Planet Fitness. That's where our very first caller, Tim Renaud, who had been taking some pictures, had sent us those pictures. He was standing right out there. And then as you see, right around the corner, in the corner of the mall there by the Jimmy Jazz, is where the store where the woman had called, Aeropostale. We had heard from her and then another person who was also in that store. So right now, a lot of the police are in that little area, in that little nook that we see. That's where Alex Heaton is. That's where ABC News 4 Bill Burr is as well. We've got another crew going to the kind of the other side of the mall near the New Trends and the Lens Crafter. But what we know right now, Northwoods Mall, an active shooter within the last 45 minutes. The North Charleston Police spokesperson Spencer Pryor said there is not an active shooter right now. We are waiting to see, listen to a press conference by Spencer. Let's take that live right now.
Spencer Pryor, the spokesman of the North Charleston Police Department. He will tell us exactly.
Dean, this is Bill Burr. We're going to be talking to Spencer Pryor here in just a moment. And we're going to talk to Spencer Pryor with the North Charleston Police Department. Spencer, what can you tell us?
Guys, first of all and foremost, what we want the public to know that there is not an active shooter situation that's going on here at Northwoods Mall. Now, having said that, here's what we do know. Shortly after 5:30 p.m., and I don't know the store's name here in the mall, but there were two young men that got into some type of an argument inside of the store. The store employees told the gentleman to leave the store. At that point in time, the two of them exchanged gunfires between each other. From that point on, then they ran from, we're not sure, we're assuming that they ran out of the mall. So what you see here now is we have the mall on lockdown. It's being cleared. The officers are going from store to store and clearing the mall. So just to reiterate that we do not and did not have an active shooter going on here at the mall, but an incident which was isolated between two individuals where shots were fired.
Were the shots fired in the store? Were they in the store?
They were inside of the mall. They were fired inside of the mall.
Were those two
No,
apprehended?
they have not been apprehended as of this time.
So they're still on the run. Those guns are not recovered as well?
Correct. The suspects are still at large at this time.
And their
Correct.
guns as well?
Yes, correct.
Do you have a description?
Not at this moment, because we're at least trying to calm the community to let them know. So you guys, that's where I need your help in that. If you all could make sure that we're reporting that it is not an active shooter. I can go back inside and try to get you more information on the two suspects. But most importantly right now is us clearing the mall, making sure that all the employees are okay, all of the customers that were inside of the mall are okay, and of course the search for the suspects as well.
Were the shots fired inside the store?
I'll have to find that out. I can say that it was inside of the mall. Now, whether it was specifically inside of that store, I'm not sure, but I'll find that out.
Has anyone been hurt?
No, there's no report of anyone being injured.
Any idea how long the mall will be locked down?
As long as it takes for us to make sure that everyone is accounted for, that everyone is safe.
How quickly was the response?
That I'll have to check, but I know it came out instantly when we received the call. We responded. We have Charleston County here and a few other agencies, I believe, as well also.
It was about 5:20?
But before 5:30, I think it was.
They both had guns, as far as you know.
That's, to my knowledge, that's correct.
Spencer, so many shootings lately. What's this doing to your department? Now this.
Well, hey, we're here to serve and protect, so no matter what happens, we are going to be there. We want our citizens to know that they are safe here in the city of North Charleston, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure that they are safe.
Do we know if there's surveillance video inside the mall?
Yeah, too early to tell. I'm sure it is. You know, Northwoods Mall, we'll be in contact with them. Our investigators will be as well also, and if it is, we hope that we'll be able to use that to our advantage to apprehend the two suspects.
And no one has been hurt?
To my knowledge, I just said that as far as I know, no one has been hurt.
Thank you.
Okay, so
anything else we should tell the public?
no, just make sure if you reiterate, please, because we want folks to know that. Of course, we don't need folks to come out and kind of rubbernecking or getting in the way of law enforcement here. Now, we want, if you have loved ones that may be working here or may have been visiting the mall, try to reach them by phone. If we can, we're spreading the word to them for them to be able to reach their families to let them know that they're safe. But again, our number one priority is to make sure that the customers, that the employees, and the citizens of North Charleston are safe, and we'll work to the end to make sure that happens.
How did the evacuation go, and who's responsible? Was it the mall? Was it you guys when you came?
Well, it's a combination, and I think you guys were here. You saw how it went. I mean, as orderly as I can tell as far as coming on, and we have to say that Northwoods Mall, the mall security, and all those guys working hand in hand. This is what we have to do.
Was there any panic at all, from what you know?
No, I wasn't here, so I couldn't respond to that. But you can only imagine if something happens, people are concerned and all. But again, the most important thing is we want to assure them that they are safe. Okay? So as soon as I get some additional information, I'll get back in touch with you guys on there. But just to reiterate, there is not an active shooter incident going on here at Northwoods Mall.
But there are two people with guns on that have been apprehended.
Okay? All right, guys. Thank you. All right.
About 5:32.
Dean, that's the latest here from North Charleston Mall. As you heard from North Charleston Police, no active shooter, but they are looking for two people right now that were involved in some type of argument with gunfire. Those people have left the mall. North Charleston Police are looking for them at this point.
Hey, Bill, you can hear me?
But now the mall is totally locked
Yes.
down.
So my question would be this. Thankfully, nobody was hurt, nobody was hit, nobody was injured. But how can he say that there wasn't an active shooter in the mall when two people were actively shooting each other in the mall?
Absolutely are sure that it's safe to go back in.
I don't know at this point, Dean. A couple of shoppers, a shopper that I spoke with said that she had heard about 6 gunshots, and then she heard people saying, let's leave the mall. And so that's what she did. She was near the Aeropostale store, from what I understand. And so, again, as I mentioned to you earlier during our previous hit, it was when I came up here, there was no pandemonium, there was no screaming or anything. People were leaving here in an orderly fashion, and they were coming out to the parking lot to meet up with their loved ones here as police were canvassing the area.
All right, Bill, I'm going to keep you up in our double box and respond to a question that was asked when they were asked, were people panicking? Were people scared? We were out there, probably had live coverage for 20 minutes, and we were talking to people as they were coming out, and it was clear to us at the time and from our phone interviews that it seemed like everybody, even though they were upset, there wasn't panic, there wasn't pandemonium from everything we've seen and everybody we've talked to beforehand. And you talked to some of those people.
That's right, Dean. And, we got up here several minutes after this incident had occurred. And, again, people were coming out in an orderly fashion. They were walking quickly. They weren't necessarily running, per se. They were coming out of the mall. They were looking for family members. They were looking for a safe place to go. And the parking lot was secure at this point. Numerous North Charleston police cars here and fire trucks canvassing the area. You might be able to hear there's a helicopter above right now as well, searching this area, too. But again, relatively calm considering the scary circumstances that happened at around 5:30 this afternoon inside the mall.
All right, Bill Burr, Alex Heaton with our live coverage at the mall tonight. We appreciate your time. We'll see you back at the top of the hour. But again, North Charleston Police saying this started as a dispute, as a disagreement, as an argument, a confrontation between two people in one of the stores. The store owner then asked the two individuals to leave the store. As they were leaving that store, somewhere where inside of that mall, the two began exchanging gunfire at each other. At that point, people started leaving the mall. At around 5:30 this happened. Probably at 5:45, we spoke to a gentleman on the phone who had arrived at Planet Fitness to go work out. He said, do not go. People were coming out saying, do not go inside. There's shooting going on. From that point, we talked to several people who said they heard shots fired, glass being shattered. The good news tonight is that apparently nobody was hit and nobody was injured. Two suspects are being looked for now by North Charleston police. They say an active shooter situation is not ongoing right now at the mall. We will continue to cover this story at 7 o'clock on ABC News 4 at 7 o'clock. And then also join us online. We've got Facebook Live up. You can go to our ABC News 4 Facebook page and abcnews4.com. We are back after this.